thinking of this idea took way longer than I'd like to admit. I wanted it to be something that could add to the visual accompaniments of the song. I think the hardest part of making the book was cutting the cardboard. At first, I wanted it to be even, but I think it looked a bit better uneven, like things had happened to it, like it had had a life before, a story before we see it and are introduced to it. It was also really hot this day, and it wasn't the most comfortable to be outside, but still somehow it was very relaxing and calming. I also got to see that beautiful little white butterfly, so any discomfort was worth it after that. And that includes the myriad of wasps that were flying around. I really thought I was gonna get stung. And now we come to the fun part. Each page got painted black, and at one point I did switch the paints because this paint was a little too thick and the other one dried a lot faster and was more runny, so I could add more layers easily. It also dried with a more matte finish, which is what I was going for. Adding decorations to the cover. So I went around the outside border of the front and back page with this brown paper. I think you use it for wrapping things like fragile things. I tried to use paint to stick it down to the bottom. It kind of worked, but I did have to go back with super glue because some of the pieces were lifting up off the page. And then obviously I painted them black. I did have to go over them a few times because they're all wrinkled and crinkly. And then I painted the front and the back cover with white paint. I messed up the spacing on the word idiot the first time, and I kind of did the second time too, but it kind of goes with the theme. It wasn't as bad. So I had to cover it with black, and while that was drying, I did the back cover, most of the back cover. And then I started from the T instead of the I, and I did misspell idiot, but that also goes with the theme. Looking back, I'm not sure if that was the right choice or not, but you know, it was a choice, and I made it. No takesy backsies, unfortunately. Now, I'm not a professional bookbinder or competent in any way, shape, or form in the art of bookbinding or bookmaking, and I was not making this book to hold up under any stress or anything whatsoever. So I just poked a bunch of holes in each page. Had to make sure that they all lined up to the best of my ability, and also my thumbs were dying at the end of this. They really hurt. It was not a pleasant experience. So I lined up all my beautiful pages with all the beautiful holes I had made. What did I say it like that? And I pushed the mini crochet hook through the holes and pulled out the string back through. I cut one string for each set of holes so that I didn't have to do any weaving or any complicated anything because, like I said, I'm not a professional or competent. And then I just tied a bow at every single set of holes. And it looked very interesting. I kind of wanted it to look like somebody who didn't know what they were doing was making it, because you know, I didn't know what I was doing when I was making it, and if I made it to look like that, then it's art. But seriously, it does go with the theme. I mean, some idiot made this book and they didn't know what they were doing, but they kind of knew what they were doing because it works. So, you know, there you go. It is what it is, and it was what it is. I think this is one of the projects that didn't take me massively longer than it should have. So, you know, I just see this as proof that I can actually do it, and motivation for the future. And that's how it was done, and now it's done. Goodbye!